So hi guys, in today's review will be something a little bit different and new. And today's review is on the Rapido UK Titfield Wagon pack, or inspired by in brackets. And in this pack you get two 1907 plank wagons and a X or Great Western Iron Mink wagon in the liveries of some of the things in the Titfield Thunderbolt film. So like I said, we have a 7 and a 5 plank wagon in the 1907 designs, and then we have an Iron Mink, which is basically a brewery wagon. This came out in February 2024. The codes and stuff you need will be in the detail part of the review. It's easier that way. And at the end of the video I'll tell you how much I paid for these and where from. So let's get to the review, shall we? So this triple pack comes in a nice presentation cardboard box. On the front you got a line drawing of it which says inspired by the Titfield wagon pack, with a few informations of what wagons you get. Then on the top we have a good renders of the model. Again, it's well presented. Then on the back you get again some more information on the three wagons you have, which is an Iron Mink 1907 5 plank and a 1907 7 plank. Both the last two are privately owned wagons, and they just say they're inspired by the Titfield and explain a little bit about it. Then down the side you get the codes for each of the wagons, which I'll put up when I do the detail parts for them separately. So for both of the 1907 private owned wagons, the 5 and 7 plank, you do get a piece of paper which says thank you for buying this model. Gives you a little bit of information on the model on the front. Then on the back it's just the basic stuff about returns, if you have a problem, and does your model need running in. That always makes me laugh. It says no, just pop it on the track and enjoy it. And then you have an illustration of a 5 with a side door and a 7 with an end door and a side door as well. And for the Iron Mink you get the same information and history on the front. You get a drawing of the blue circle Iron Mink. You also get the usual, if you have any problems, so troubleshooting, any problems with the wagon, what to do, where to go, the websites as well. So as we move on to the front or the back of each wagon, I thought I'd do this as a collective, the first bit anyway. The reason the track's there is to stop the coaches rolling forward, or the wagons rolling forward anyway. So let's start with the private owner's wagon in green. So both the private owner wagons have the same buffer beam detail, which is basically no sprung buffers, but they are metal. We also have a NEM pocket already applied, and it has a small tension lock already inserted. We have for the green one, it's got the green buffer beam with a plastic hook in the centre, which is in black. We also have a few rivets on there and a few bits of marking. The Iron Mink wagon has a black buffer beam, black heads of the buffers and shanks. None of these are sprung, like I said. We have the NEM pocket and coupler already applied. Again, it's the same standard as all the rest. And we have a black hook in the centre. And then finally we come on to the 4 plank owner's wagon from 1907. It does have the NEM pocket and hook already applied, the coupler already applied. We have metal unsprung buffers, which are in black. The buffer beam itself, again, apart from being in green like the other one, it's in blue with some black lines and with a few rivets around it. So the side of the green one is the open one. This is the 7 plank. It opens from the side on this version. And everything on it is green. The wood effect is green. We do have some black outlining on it. In real life, like I said, these would open. We also have some metal work at the top. Everything on this is very crisply printed. As we move back to the Iron Mink, the Iron Mink has the number of the wagon, which is number 14, and it's in red. The sides in the middle supports are in black. The livery of the Iron Mink, I believe, is in a light blue. There's a few bits of riveting around the outside for detail, and I think the vent has been covered up on this. As we move back to the blue one again, the blue one is the same as the back of the green one and the back of the blue one, obviously. So we have the sides in black with a few rivets. We have the supports in the centre, again, are in blue with a little bit of black. We do have the blue livery, it's more of a darker blue than the Iron Mink. And there's a wood effect going on. There's not really much there. As we move on to the liveries of the pack, first off I must say the liveries are wonderful, they're pretty and they're crisply printed as well. So let's start with the 7-plank wagon. So the main livery for this is in a green. The writing or the company it represents during the film is Titfield Coal Co. And we have a wonderful printed on steam locomotive, which I believe is the lion from the film. We also have some other legible writing stuff close up along the bottom. There's the rivets and the metalwork are picked out in black. We do have a drop down for the coal. It's a shame I can't read what the places it says on there. The writing is a bit too small for my eyesight. And the number of the wagon is number 19. As we move on down, I've got to be honest that both of the private owned wagons to me look the same as you move on down. Apart from, I think it's the green one has a plaque in the centre, failing that they are the same. So I'll just do the one. So we do have some writing by the looks of it on the axle boxes. There's also a handbrake and it is plastic down below. You have axles and springs, like I said, there's writing on the axles. We do have boat metal wheels. Overall it is to the standard of the 1907 designs that they were doing and it looks perfectly well to me. I believe there's some brake shoes as well down there too. As we now move over to the Iron Van, as it's called on the pack, the company that it represents from the film is Valentine and Taylor. Again, that's in red and it's wonderfully printed on. We have some bits sticked out in black again with the rivets. We also have some moulded on chains and a lock on the door where you can see the logo. I think it's to do with the pub and the film. There's lots of writing on it in red, like lots. Sadly again, from where I am, I can't read what these are, but the close-up views you may be able to tell what they are when it goes by. And then we have the livery, main livery is baby blue. Again, there's loads of rivets and details on it. On the underframe, again, we have metal spoked wheels that do have a white wall tyre. There's axles and springs, there's a handbrake and some bracing as well. This is done to a Great Western design, but again, it does look stunning. And finally, we move on to the 5-plank private owned wagon, which is Pierce and Crump Limited, and it's number 338. And this is in a darker blue. All the riveting and the sides are in black. We have this wonderful, like I said, company's name across it. There does look to be some other detail parts as well on it, and detail bits as in numbers, addresses, where to return to, etc. And we have a drop down door as well. I believe there's a banger on the chassis like there is on the Titfield Coal one. As we do a view from the top now, let's start off with the 7-plank wagon. On the inside it's all brown, but remember we do have a door on one side to let it all out at the front or the back depending on your preference, and they have tooled that up correctly. There's no hatches down below to go to the ground, but it's very nice. You can see the hatches either side of it where it would come out from the side. As we move over now to the Great Western Iron Mink style wagon, the Iron Mink itself is in a very dark grey. There is some welding or rivets on the roof. There's quite a lot of rivets actually. And we have 4 compartments on the roof as it was, so where they've welded it shut. Again, very nice. And then we come to the 5-plank wagon. The 5-plank wagon itself, again, is in the same brown as the 7-plank. We do have some planking going on both of them, going sideways like you would any other privately owned wagon or wagon at the time. There's no door at the ends, so we just have the doors at either side, and they have been moulded as well, which you can just about see from this angle. Again, there's not much to look at. So let's do an underneath look at the private owned wagons. Let's start off with the 7-plank wagon. There is some differences. On the 7-plank wagon you only have bracing on one side, but there is holes there for the details to be added. On the both of them you get the same amount of details. You get the spring in the centre, you also get some, looks like wood coming through. You get some bracing, you get some arches by the looks of it as well, because you would let the coal come through. And you get metal wheels and then them couple of either side as well. There's probably a few things that I've missed out, like some axles. And on the 5-plank wagon, it's very much the same, but you get bracing on both sides of the chassis, and you can see the springs that go from the buffers either side, which I'm guessing that's how they are in real life. You get that on both of them, but there's no Rapido marks or anything like that on the underneath, which is a little bit surprising. And finally, you come to the underneath of the Iron Mink wagon. Again, we have the NEM pockets or butterfly ones. We again have the same amount of springs and axles on it. There's a few bits of bracing. Like I said, we have metal wheels as well. These are bearing ones to spin for quite some time. We also have the springs that go from one buffer to the other. Hopefully in our pictures you can see that. Again, like the wagons, or the private owned wagons, there's no, as far as I can see, there's no Rapido sign. If it is, it's really small and hidden away. I know on some of the stuff it is quite big from other manufacturers. But saying that, is it smart underneath? There's lots of details, but the question is, are you going to see it when it's going round? So next up on this review of, well, this will be the usual coupling test. And the stock I'm using this time around is stuff that was featured in the Titfield Thunderbolt film, and it's all Rapido, but not in the liveries of the film. So here goes. Eventually they all did connect, and some have come undone. Some of the couplings do bend the wrong way. Let's try again. No, there's a problem with one of the couplings. Let me just go and sort it out and see what's wrong with it. Should be all connected now. One of the couplings wouldn't return back to the centre, and it was rejecting any other coupling trying to get to it. Yeah, it's all connected now. Sorry about that. So yeah guys, that's the end of the review and the running session. Before I give my opinion, I'll do what I normally do. The loco pulling the train was the Rapido Lion. I thought I'd go with the Titfield Thunderbolt film theme. So we had the Lion, and then we had the tram car, and at the end we had a toad. So the price I paid for mine, I got mine direct from Rapido Trains UK website, simply because I understood it was a limited to Rapido themselves and won't be at any model shops. That's the reason I went there. So in total I paid £115 for 3 wagons. 2 are brand new tool, 1 has been out for a while, and it was £5 shipping, and it was £110 in total with a £10 deposit, I believe, for when you pre-order it. But if I was getting this direct from the model shops, which if I knew that I would have done, you were talking more, I think £89 plus whatever postage the model shops put on. Like I say, I normally try and buy it direct from a model shop, but Rapido gave the image that you can only get it from their website. Maybe it got lost in transit with me or communication. That's the way I understood it. But anyway, £115 is a little bit steep, but these are a wonderful looking items. The detail on them is lots of detail. I think I missed the steps on the wagons. They have like steps painted in by the looks of it on the sole bar. There's other bits of details I missed, like the writing. They are superb. If you would put the coal wagons in a generic style coal train, they would fit in. They really would. Like I said, I had an issue with the Pearson Crump 5 plank. For some reason, it's struggling to hook up to any rolling stock, not just Rapidos, any Hornby, Bachmann, Big D's, Small D's. It's just struggling. I don't know if it's too tight or it's some plastic stopping it. That's the only issue I have. But if I was to use it in a running session, I would just do it by hand. But I thought I'd show you on camera. That's the issue I had. I didn't know I had the issue until you saw the footage. But that's the only downside I have, apart from the price and the miscommunication from Rapido. These are nice, and these will probably go for silly money on eBay, or Evil Bay as I like to call it. They appeal to modelers, I guess. They also appeal to film collectors who collect memorabilia to do with films. And like I said, they do look nice. They run well. They got metal wheels that spin forever. Lots of detail, and they are smooth runners. When I was doing the detail parts, they were rolling around with some of the shots, and that also told me my board wasn't level for doing the Photoshop. But I'm happy with them. I finally got some Titfield stuff. I wasn't willing to pay for the train pack because it was just a little bit too high for me. So for me, it's a thumbs up, especially if you get from model shop. Big thumbs up if you get from model shop. If you don't, still a thumbs up. I can recommend these if you can find them in any shop. Currently sold out on Rapido's website, and I think they sold out a few model shops. I'm unsure what happens to the Hatton stock where they go, but failing that, yeah, they look the part of, I want to say, an era 2, but they are 1907, which again, yeah, is era 2. That's my little ramble. That's my review on these lovely looking rolling stock from Rapido. Hopefully I'll see you in the next review, so please take care and goodbye.